The Galactic Defense Academy's shooting range fell silent as Commander Zexthor's mandibles clicked in barely concealed amusement. His compound eyes tracked the human delegation's performance on the holographic displays, each missed shot drawing chittering laughter from the assembled alien cadets. "Pathetic," hissed Counselor Vrim, her serpentine form coiling with superiority. "These humans, they cannot even strike a stationary target at 200 meters. And yet they claim to have survived a predator-filled world?" Captain Sarah Chen stood rigid at the firing line, her jaw clenched as another plasma bolt sailed wide of the glowing target sphere. Beside her, Lieutenant Marcus Webb and Sergeant Yuki Tanaka fared no better, their shots scattering across the range in what appeared to be random patterns. "Perhaps their species suffers from defective optical organs," suggested a Krathnid warrior, its crystalline exoskeleton refracting the range's harsh lights. The comment drew a wave of derisive sounds from the alien observers, clicks, whistles, and warbles that transcended language barriers in their mocking intent. Commander Zexthor activated his communication module. "Humans, this is unacceptable. The Galactic Defense Force requires marksmen of exceptional skill. Your species applied for admission with tales of surviving against impossible odds. Yet you cannot hit targets that a hatchling could strike blindfolded." Sarah's knuckles whitened around her weapon. 3 months of travel through subspace, 6 weeks of diplomatic negotiations, and countless hours of proving humanity's worth, all potentially wasted because of one critical test. But she held her tongue and fired again. "Another miss, Commander," Sarah finally spoke, her voice carrying across the range with military precision. "Request permission to continue the exercise under combat simulation parameters." Zexthor's antennae twitched. "You wish to embarrass your species further? Very well. Initiate Combat Protocol Theta-7. The static range transformed instantly. The single target sphere multiplied into dozens. Hovering drones materialized armed with non-lethal marker rounds. Environmental hazards activated. Smoke, debris, electromagnetic interference. The test had evolved from basic marksmanship into chaotic warfare. "Scatter," Sarah barked. The human team moved with fluid synchronization that caught every observer off guard, while alien cadets trained to hold formation and fire at designated targets. The humans did something entirely different. They ran, dove, and rolled through the artificial battlefield with seemingly reckless abandon, and they kept missing. Sarah's shots carved through smoke and struck the range walls. Marcus's plasma bolts hit debris fields, vaporizing cover. Yuki's fire seemed to seek everywhere except the designated targets. "They panic under pressure," Vrim observed with satisfaction. Typical prey species behavior. But Commander Zexthor had stopped laughing. His tactical mind, honed through 3 decades of military service, began recognizing patterns. The humans weren't panicking. Every movement was deliberate. Every missed shot was calculated. "Pause simulation," he commanded suddenly. The combat scenario froze. The 3 humans stood among the artificial battlefield, breathing heavily but alert, weapons still raised. "Explain your strategy." "Captain Chen," Zexthor demanded. Sarah lowered her weapon and smiled grimly. "Permission to speak freely, Commander." "Granted. We weren't shooting at the targets, sir. We were shooting at everything else." Confusion rippled through the alien observers. Zexthor's mandibles clicked rapidly, his species equivalent of a frown. "Elaborate." Marcus stepped forward, gesturing across the range. "On Earth, Commander, we don't come from a world of open plains and straightforward combat. We evolved in forests, jungles, mountains, urban sprawl. Our warfare isn't about who has the steadiest hand or the best eye. It's about who controls the battlefield," Yuki continued. "Every shot we fired was terrain manipulation. We created choke points, eliminated cover, forced enemy drones into predictable movement patterns." Sarah activated her tactical display, projecting a 3-dimensional replay. "Watch the simulation from a strategic perspective, Commander. Every miss was a hit, just not on what you were watching." The hologram showed the truth. The humans had systematically demolished every piece of cover that could be used against them. They'd carved sightlines through smoke and debris. Marcus's shots had severed support structures, causing platforms to collapse into barriers. Yuki's fire had herded the combat drones into carefully constructed kill zones. Sarah's plasma bolts had created a network of retreat paths and defensive positions. In the final seconds before the pause, all 3 humans had simultaneously swiveled toward the actual targets. Now exposed, defenseless, and trapped by the restructured battlefield. Resume simulation, Zexthor ordered quietly. The frozen combat scenario sprang back to life. The three humans fired in perfect synchronization. Every single target sphere shattered. Every combat drone dropped caught in the kill zones. The entire exercise was over in 3.7 seconds. Total silence engulfed the observation deck. We call it environmental warfare, Sarah explained, holstering her weapon. On Earth, the strongest predator doesn't always win. The smartest one does. The one who turns the terrain itself into a weapon. The one who makes the enemy fight on their terms, not their own. Commander Zexthor approached the human delegation slowly, his posture shifting into what his species recognized as deep respect. In 10,000 years of Galactic Defense Force operations, no species has demonstrated this particular tactical philosophy. That's because most species evolved as either apex predators or specialized herd prey, Marcus observed. Humans are persistence predators who lived everywhere. Deserts, tundra, jungles, mountains. We couldn't outrun or outfight most of Earth's fauna, so we learned to outthink them. Counselor Vrim slithered forward, her earlier contempt replaced by something approaching awe. You intentionally failed the basic test to demonstrate the advanced concept. No, Counselor, Sarah corrected. We passed both tests. You were just grading the wrong one. Zexthor's mandibles spread in his species' version of a smile. Captain Chen, Lieutenant Webb, Sergeant Tanaka, on behalf of the Galactic Defense Force, I formally accept humanity into the Academy. We have much to learn from each other. As the observation deck erupted in startled but impressed chatter, Sarah allowed herself a small smile. Earth's children had once again proven that survival wasn't about being the biggest, fastest, or strongest. Sometimes it was simply about being clever enough to change the rules.